Hello, friends, and welcome to the show, Your Real Estate Today. I'm Paul Jameson, your host. Happy Saturday. We hope you're having a great Saturday wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We hope it's a super duper day for you and you're enjoying it out there today. I am the owner of the Jameson family of companies. That's Realty, Property Management, and Property Investments. And this show, if you have not heard it before, is about real estate. If you have heard it before, you know that each and every time we come out here, we got something going on. We got something to talk about, something that's probably going to surprise you. And we're just having a good time where we are. And today, Sandy Dickinson with Cross Country Mortgage is not only my friend, but our lender of choice and my guest. Hey, Sandy, welcome.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So if you want to watch us, we also record on Zoom. We're on the Jameson Realty YouTube channel. So just put in Jameson Realty with an I, and you can watch my hands flailing. You can watch sometimes TJ yell at me, our producer. You can watch Sandy make gestures at me and say, no, that's not what I said. So you can have a good time and enjoy that. And you can watch that anytime. Also, of course, we have the podcast you can download from WBT Show tab. All right. So Sandy, I think this week I decided to take a very unique approach to what I learned this week.
Okay.
So I am going to be very scatterbrained about what I learned this week. Don't do anything with that, please. But let's just, TJ's already laughing at me. I found out an interesting fact. And then I found out found an article from Inman about 7 of the most ridiculous requests buyers had made for their agent. And I thought people would enjoy that today. But here's an interesting fact. Do you know that we as American citizens on average receive 454 pieces of junk mail a year? That's an average of about 1.5 pieces per day, excluding Sundays, of junk mail. So what's interesting is we get a lot now that comes at us from social media. So there's those that say, people are desperate to find something in the mail. So if you want to put out a message, put it in the mail. So I thought that was really fun. In my past life, I ran an advertising agency in Charlotte, and we did a lot of direct mail. And there are a lot of techniques for direct mail, but you got about 3 seconds to make an impact and get somebody to look at it before it goes in the number 13 file. So if you're going to do it, be smart about how you do it. All right. And now I will also make the general comment I'm going to go from junk mail to COVID. How's that for all over the place? People are done with COVID. I'm saying everybody I talk to says I'm about done with this COVID thing. I've been to an event. I went to an event the other day. They sent out 4 emails talking about mask up, stand 6 feet away, wash your hands, fix your breath, whatever they can think of, gargle with Listerine, do whatever you need to do to protect from the COVID. After the first glass of wine, there wasn't a mask in that place.
You're drinking out of each other's glasses.
Yeah. Spitting on each other, getting in each other's face, saying all P words. Paul, how are you? Here's my COVID germs. Come on, people. If you're gonna get wackadoodle, stay wackadoodle. I don't care. Do what you want. But don't take your glass of wine or your glass of whiskey and then just, after preaching to me for 5 emails, come over and spit on me. All right. What does that have to do with real estate? Nothing. But it's funny. Got to have a little humor in the COVID. It's a serious thing, but sometimes there's humor in it. All right. 7 of the most ridiculous things that buyers ask for. Now, TJ, TJ's my producer and my friend. TJ, I watch your show and I listen to some of the restaurants and some of the unique things you say. Get ready for this.
All right.
Okay. There was a buyer that asked their agent before they signed the papers to summon a Ghostbuster. According to them, the house looked haunted and they wanted to hire a home inspector that will come search for ghosts at night in the house before they would sign the contract. Oh my.
I'll do it.
Ha, yeah, I will too.
Yeah.
Get you a little holy water and sprinkle it around outside.
Some
All right,
sage.
next. Another agent encountered a woman who had a stunning rose garden. It was so stunning, she wanted to take it with her when she moved, but she didn't have another house yet. So she wrote into the contract that rose garden had to stay in that yard until she found another house. When she found another house, she went over with a shovel and dug up her rose garden. Really? Okay, here's one. The seller actually wanted a contract clause inside of the contract that the buyer would adopt their dog. According to the seller, it means more for the dog to live in the same house rather than living with them. As the dog was born in the house, the seller wanted it to breathe his last breath in the same place. Man giving up his dog. Dang, that ain't happening. All right, next. This was a story about a luxury home. This home had an amazing basement, party area, dance floor, and swimming pool. A supermodel showed interest in the place, so the agent fixed their schedule to show her around the house. Everything was going well until she placed a real bizarre request. She requested a clause in the contract that does not allow the police to enter her residence no matter what happens. It was totally impossible to comply with, so we had to let the offer down. All right. One of an agent's clients wanted to use, here's a new one, every bathroom in the property before buying it. He asked to put that in the contract. They seemed very normal and interested in the house, just like any buyer. But as they kept looking, they asked me to use a hose. Oh, this is a different one. They put in the bathroom in the contract, and surprisingly enough, the seller allowed it. And the client bought that house once he'd made sure he had enjoyed every shower. Do you believe that? Next, there was another buyer that was looking for a house that was adamant about buying one with peace, serenity, and tranquility. So they asked the agent to walk around the house with a hose and spray every window. Why? Because he wanted to know what it was like living there while it was raining. Okay, here's another one. A buyer knew that the home was owned by a famous clothing designer. So the buyer in the contract also wanted several pairs of designer jeans to go along with the purchase of the house from that designer. So I want your house, but I want 7 pairs of jeans that you designed. Interesting. Okay. Here's 3 of mine. So now it's going to get interesting. All right. You ready? How much time
Ready.
do I have?
Yeah, we'll save it for the next one.
All right. All right. So Sandy, he's telling me to save it. So I got 3 more for the next segment. We're going to be talking more about crazy things that clients have done or requested after the break. Here with Sandy Dickinson with Cross Country Mortgage, myself, Paul Jameson, the show, Your Real Estate Today. We'll be right back. Hello, friends. Welcome back. Happy Saturday to the Show Your Real Estate Today. Paul Jameson here, your host of the Show Your Real Estate Today. If you're out there tuning in and tooling around, hope you sit back and enjoy this. This show is about real estate. I'm here with Sandy Dickinson with Cross Country Mortgage. We're having a good time and a great afternoon, and we're sharing information with you. Before the break, I was finishing up about silly requests that buyers or sellers had made or things that had happened, and so I was sharing I'm getting ready to share my 3. I did Inman's 7. Those are pretty fun. So here are 3 that have happened to me. All right. So I was touring a home with my buyers, and beautiful home, very, very nice, very expensive. The buyer and their family went downstairs, and the wife proceeded to walk over to the bar, opened the refrigerator, pulled out a drink, opened it, started drinking it, and then offered drinks to everybody else in the house
Wow.
during the showing.
Wow.
I'm freaking out. I looked at her and go, "What are you doing?" She goes, "Oh, I'm sure they're fine with it." I'm like, no. So I bought a case of drinks, told the other agent what happened, and dropped them off and put them on their porch to replace them. You imagine that? Oh, hey, look, leftover ribs from last night. How about we have some? Anybody else want some? Crazy. All right. Another one. I have many instances when buyers and sellers get together and the buyer wants the seller's stuff. They come into a house and it is a tough situation. I have had buyers tell me, "I want the car in the garage." Huh? You want the car in the garage? Yes. And I want a lamp. I want a table. I want the picture over the bed. And I always say, keep the stuff out of the contract and offer whatever you want to offer for that stuff later. You run the risk of actually ticking people off by asking for their stuff. So people can be very attached to their stuff. You don't see that, do you, Sandy? That's why they pay storage fees for years and years and years over stuff they'll never.
Oh yeah, everybody has a storage unit.
Yep. I can't tell you the number of times I've seen deals go south over stuff. So now I tell them, look, if you're interested in the stuff after we go under contract, we'll negotiate over the stuff later. If you don't like the house and all you're buying is the stuff, you probably ought to go to the store, because I got another for you, right? Last, I had a buyer that wanted the seller to pay for the remodeling of the house. Now, this one particular buyer wanted a certain type of remodel that I wasn't really sure how to react to. Evidently, in many homes, the toilet is not of sufficient size to handle someone's weight. So they requested that every toilet in the house be replaced with a toilet that could handle a multiple hundreds of pounds capacity. How do you write that in a contract, Sandy?
I think you just write it in, or you get the attorney to do it.
Please provide us with seating arrangements in the bathroom that can handle a capacity of over X number of pounds. Thank you.
Right. Current ones are insufficient.
Believe it or not, seller did it.
I would have done it.
Yeah. And, I do see people want updates sometimes and, paint or whatever. Just do an allowance. Let them do it. Don't do that. It muddies the water. It's like flushing money down. You get where I'm going here? Okay. Get where I'm going here? Yeah. Okay.
Got
Anyway.
it.
Okay. You picking up when I'm laying down? Uh, all right, enough of that. Sandy, I have taken a segment and a half before you even got into the mortgage update. I'm just worthless today.
No, it was good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you ready for the mortgage update?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Rates are still steady. Purchase apps were down 12% year over year, but last week they were up 7.5%. So I guess we had a little lull during the holiday. Demand is slowing just a little due to higher prices, but no inventory means no sale, but the demand is there. So we're still doing pretty good. The capacity utilization report came out at 75%, and that's good news for us because that's less inflationary. So that helps our rates. So I'm not saying they're going to drop, but at least they're not going to go up. So it's still a great time to buy, sell, and refinance.
Yeah. Yeah. To your point, Sandy, inventory right now in August, latest numbers were 0.8 months. Still, even the year before, it was like 1.5 months. So it's half of what it was a year ago.
Yep. We're struggling out here.
But, 58,000 homes are expected to hit the market this year. We haven't seen that kind of inventory levels, meaning there's a lot of houses actually coming on. There's just so many buyers and investors picking up that market that it's getting absorbed so quickly. Yeah.
Yep. It's not enough, but every little bit helps.
It truly does. And, there's been a lot of question, and this is a little bit of a sidebar. You and I've had discussions about the forbearance. And people are saying, well, now that this stuff is over, there's going to be a lot of homes that have hit the market due to forbearance. And I'm hearing, Sandy, that that's not the case at all. There's 1.6 million homes in forbearance right now. And there's so much equity in those homes that they're not going to come crashing into the market. They're either going to get refinanced by you or you. Or, they're going to tack on that difference at the end because there's so much equity with houses in the last 2 years going up nationally 28%.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of options. And if there is a case, there will be some cases where people will sell. But even if we have a couple 100,000 hit in the market, it's still just a drop in the bucket. So it's not going to be saturated.
No.
Still going to be great for sellers and hopefully a little better for buyers.
Yeah. What's also interesting, Sandy, is the positive news around the fact that, unemployment is below 6%, which is, the benchmark, right? So you're at, I think it's like 5.4 or 5.6 right now, but there's over 10 million jobs available. So that's going to raise salaries, right? And and because of the savings rate, people's credit scores have gone up significantly too, right?
Yeah, we see a lot of high ones, And it looks like they're going to make some concessions for some of the low ones.
Yeah. And so one of the things we're going to talk about in the show today, Sandy's going to talk some about some different loan options that people have. We talk about it very cautiously with some of these, right? Because we don't want to be back where we were, but things are a little tighter now, right?
Well,
related to regulations and things. Well, regulations too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of regulations. Not quite as bad as early last year, but we still have to have a lot of paper, which we love.
Yes, I found that out about Sandy. She likes paper. As a matter of fact, she considered changing cars, and she considered changing it to a truck because she likes paper so much.
Bigger the better.
That's what I'm guessing. Also, after the break, I'm going to tell you about people from out of state. I didn't get to talk about that yet. Loan options, out of state people in real estate. It just goes on and on, the fun. Happy Saturday, the show Your Real Estate Today. We'll be right back here, News Talk 1110 99.3 WB2. Welcome back. Hey, it's Saturday. We're having a great time. The show Your Real Estate Today. I'm Paul Jameson, your host with the Jameson family of companies. That's Jameson Realty, Jameson Property Management for individual investors, and Jameson Property Investments. If you're interested in investing in real estate, we're here to help you, whether you're a buyer or you're ready to sell your home. That's what we do each and every day in North and South Carolina. Here with Sandy Dickinson with Cross Country Mortgage. Hey, Sandy, welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be here.
All right. So before I go off on another tangent and we run out of time, let's talk about different types of mortgages and options that you have, because some of these are unique. Now, we all know about conventional FHA and VA. We got that. You got that. There are some creative conventional loans, right? Based on percentage down that you can do. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. But what other types of loans would you bring forward that people may want to consider?
Well, we now have a construction perm loan that's really nice for people that want to build and can't seem to find what they want. It's a one-time close, which is super nice. And we can do jumbo, conventional FHA, or VA on it. So it's super nice.
Okay, so just meaning when you say that, so I go out and I find a piece of land, right? And I'm not sure what I want to build or how much it's going to be.
Right.
But I have an idea. What does that look like then?
So, so you buy the land and you have your plans and specs and your builder all set. We add the land cost to the improvement cost. We'll probably throw in a little contingency for overrides. And then we plan the loan around that. So your builder does have to be approved. You can't build it yourself. But it is just a one-time close. So during construction, it's interest only. And then it rolls to a permanent financing with a fixed rate or an ARM, whichever you guys choose.
Do you lock up in the beginning? Do you lock or at the end?
You can. We have a 360-day lock. Yes, we can.
Wow.
You have to build within a year.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
And you can do FHA, VA, or conventional within that, huh?
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. I'll let you move on.
Okay. We also have the treatment doctors deserve. We have a doctor loan, and that's 100% financing, up to $750,000. If they put 5% down, we can go up to $850,000. But you do need a pretty good credit score for that, though, and mortgage insurance is required. So that's a nice one for the doctors. Pharmacists. What else do we have? We have people that have, we have bank statement programs. So give me 12 months bank statements. I'll add all your deposits and use that for your income. We have a cash flow arm for investment, or cash flow for investment properties. So we base that on your cash flow of your properties, which is nice. That's for true investors. So that's a nice
I like
one.
that. And now when you said bank statement loan, excuse me, the bank statement loan, how many years of bank statements do you need?
We can either do a 12 or a 24 month. Typically, we just do the 12. Okay. You do have to be self-employed to use that product.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, 2 years of self-employment. So if your tax returns, you're writing everything off on your tax returns, and you decide that you want to get a loan and they're not going to support the income, we can use your deposits. We can either use business or personal accounts to determine that income. Yeah. So remember to keep those separate, your business and your personal funds.
Right. You did say something about a 1099 loan?
Yeah. So if you've recently gone from W-2 to 1099, we do have some options for you there. That's happening a lot. Maybe happening more with the vaccine mandate. People may be starting their businesses. So, so we'll look, every case is different. So it's best to call and we could just go over the specific instances.
Okay. And then are all those varying in years? You can do 15, 20, 25, 30, la, 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 la.
Yeah. And some of them are armed. So every alternate program has different options. Too much to go over on the air, but yes, there's lots of options available.
Okay, sounds good. We like options, especially when
Yeah.
it comes to that. And the interesting one I found is the bank statement one and the construction
Yeah,
to
we do quite a
perm.
bit of that. Do a lot
Yeah,
of that.
that's kind of a cool thing. You know, I'm going to be talking about, if I get to it in the show, disclosing material facts in a real estate transaction. I'm not sure I'm going to get there, but if I do, that was one of the things I was going to talk about today. If
Mhm.
not, we'll just move it to another show. But you, in the loan process, have to do a lot of disclosures when it comes to lending somebody money, right?
Yeah, it's gotten a little crazy with the regulation. So once we have 6 specific items, we have to disclose a loan, or we have to cancel the whole thing altogether. So as long as you don't have a property identified, that's one of the 6 things, and we can just do all the pre-approvals and pre-qualifies without disclosures. I mean, if you want estimates, we can certainly give them to you. And then when we lock the loan, we have to disclose another loan estimate. 3 days before you close, you have to have your closing disclosure, and that has to be reviewed for 3 days before you can close. If you change the terms of your loan, we're going to redisclose as well. If you change the rate, we'll redisclose. If you add a person, take a person off. We have a lot of disclosures going out to people, and it sometimes gets confusing. But it's just the law, and of course we go over anything people want to go over once we do that.
This is something that's happened to you and I a couple of times. I do have a standard lecture, but not everybody hears about it. Is that right before you purchase, and even when you're under contract, I tell people all the time, do not go out, get a new loan. Do not go out, get a new credit card. Do not go out, make a major move with your finances without talking to your lender. And they forget. They get so excited about their new house that they go out and they get a special credit card from Best Buy because they're buying a flat screen TV and they get 10% off. And now they got a credit card and a debt for 90 days, same as cash, with a flat screen TV or some furniture, you name it. I think people know what I'm talking about. Care to comment?
Yeah, so when someone inquires on your credit, we get notified because we run reports all the time. So I think they're called UDMs now or something. We get notifications, hey, this person has a new inquiry. So we call the person, we have to have a letter of explanation. Was there inquiry? Was there new credit? If there was new credit, we have to get all the terms. We have to do a credit supplement. It can delay your closing. And then, of course, if there is new debt, we have to count that in your debt ratio. So it's a lot of work if you end up going out and having someone inquire on your credit in the middle of the loan process. So I definitely recommend not doing that.
Yeah. Now in that part two, doesn't it, the loan have to go back through underwriting again?
Yeah, the underwriter has to go back and review the new scenario to make sure that we still can approve the loan.
Yeah.
That's correct.
What kind of a delay could that potentially cause?
Couple days, depending on how, because sometimes creditors won't do a supplement for us unless they have a conference call with the client. And that's sometimes tricky, getting everybody on the phone.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it's not something that you can unwind once you've done it. Oh, I've changed my mind. I'm
Never
going to
mind.
go
Yeah, you can't do
return
that.
the TV. You know?
Well, I did get the credit card. Okay, now we got to prove that.
Yeah. You got to search for it. All right. Well, Sandy, we've got more to come on the Show Your Real Estate today. Sandy Dickinson with Cross Country Mortgage, myself, Paul Jameson. We're going to talk about people from out of state first thing when we get back and how that relates to real estate. And we're excited to spend Saturday with you, the show Your Real Estate Today here on News Talk 1110 993 WBT. Don't go anywhere. Of the show Your Real Estate Today, we are glad that you're with us, and we're glad that you are spending your time with us. Thank you for that. This show is about real estate. If you're just tuning in, I'm Paul Jameson, the owner of the Jameson Real Estate Companies. That's Jameson Realty, Jameson Property Management for individual investors, and Jameson Property Investments. If you're interested in investing in real estate, you can do that by purchasing our book called Opportunity is Knocking. And you can get that at pauljameson.com or Amazon on Prime. Don't buy it not on Prime, because it's somebody reselling the book to you at a large markup. So just so you know that. All right. So if you get it from pauljameson.com, I send you a signed copy. So I'm with Sandy Dickinson with Cross Country Mortgage. So as I promised, I'm going to talk to you about people from out of state right now, buyers. So we're hearing a couple of really fun things right now. And all these people are coming from California, New York, all the news, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Vermont. They're all here. And they're coming here because they like it here. And they're getting hit with heavy taxes and sometimes cold weather. They just want to be where it's cooler or warmer. So better. That's right. So here's what I'm hearing. It's kind of fun. I'm hearing it's like, for example, a woman who was a realtor in California purchased one of my listings. She said, well, that's not how we do it here in California. Because I was telling her about due diligence and the non-refundable deposit. And I said, well, I understand that, but we're not there. We're here. And she says, but I don't understand that. I don't want to do that. I said, well, Toto, you ain't from California anymore. You're going to need to do it our way, like my expression, well, actually, it's Don Harris is in my office. You can certainly sleep on it, but more than likely, you're not going to sleep in it because things are moving so quickly. And then I had one that people also come here and they don't understand. And so we'll list a house for 400,000, 500,000, you name the price, 600,000. Let's say it's 600,000. And they'll come in and offer 450. I'm like, huh? Did you just send me an offer, agent, for 450,000 on a $600,000 listing? Why? And the agent is silent on the other end because they got to do what their buyer says. Mm-hmm. And I said, man, you need to have a talk with your client, because even if all of a sudden they get an epiphany and realize that they've messed up, they've already set a tone of frustration and anger with the seller. And that doesn't go over well. And it's just like the agent's sitting there going, I tried to tell them. Well, so here's what happens. People come in here with the expectation that we're in the South and there's deals to be had. So they try it a few times, they get their head handed to them, and then they stop and finally get with it. But, the reality is the biggest hurdle for them is the due diligence. Due diligence is a non-refundable deposit that they pay the seller to take the home off the market, that if they change their mind, they don't get it back. And some of these folks are buying these houses sight unseen. And it's a real challenge. They have to move. They need to move. They want to move, but they're not jumping on a plane. Or the non-refundable deposit is like $250 on a $500,000 house. No seller's going to take their home off the market for 30 days for $250. It's not going to happen. And so it's just a learning curve that, and what's so funny is I guarantee you, if the shoe were on the other foot, they'd be going ballistic. What do you mean you're offering me $450,000 on a $600,000 house? You know, you'd get a six dozen bada boom, bada bings and, something. So anyway, find something in your bed and like horse-like looking, in the movie.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So you don't want to make that kind of offer around there. You know what I mean?
The family.
Yeah, so that's right. So it's just a hurdle, the due diligence. They're learning how we do things here and they're getting with it. Even in South Carolina, we don't see a lot of due diligence, but sometimes North Carolina agents use it to try to help the transaction. So you can do it, but it's interesting. All right. Also, these buyers expect every single thing in the report to be done. The inspection report. Well, that isn't really going to happen either, right? It's not reasonable because a lot of things that are in that report, and Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina will tell you this, they were code when the house was built, but the code has changed and they're not code now. That doesn't mean that they need to be fixed. It just means that, hey, when this house was built, this was the building code. Now the building code is different. And so we're not fixing it. And we tell people, this is not a new house. If you want something with more current codes, you need to build something. But what's so funny about building codes is they change like every week. So you're never really going to have a house that is 100% compliant to building codes, at least not for long. So anyway, I'm just saying. People like to negotiate. People like to get everything fixed. People like to have that. They love the art of it. Heck, everybody loves a deal, right? Sure. And then they get mad. They're just mad. Well, I got ripped off. This is bad. Oh, they're mean. Reality is, you got to know your market. You got to have experience with what's going on. Do you ever hear this, Sandy? Well, hey, that might be the lending practices that you use here, but we don't use those lending practices in Vermont.
Yeah, especially about the due diligence. People, that's just not a thing in most states. So that confuses them. I have to explain it a few times before they're like,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So to be clear, that's a great point, Sandy. Let me explain to you what due diligence is. And I know it's going to take the time that we were going to have to do disclosures, but I'll get to that next time. Okay. Due diligence is like, hey, Sandy, do you like shoes, clothes, whatever?
Yep, I sure
Okay.
do.
Okay. So let's say you find a pair of shoes that you want at JCPenney and they're on sale. And they have your size, but you heard, and so you heard Kohl's is having a sale, but you don't want to lose that pair at JCPenney. So you go to the window and you give them $10 and they hold those shoes for you for 10 days, right? Put them in layaway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you jump in your car and you go over to Kohl's and sure enough, those same shoes are $50 less. You're pretty thrifty, right? You're going to buy those shoes, aren't you?
Right.
Okay. And then what happens to your shoes back at JCPenney?
I'm not going back. Too much gas.
That's right. Right. They keep your $10. Yeah.
Keep your $10.
They keep your $10 and they put those shoes back out on the market and sell them. Right. But they keep your $10.
Mm-hmm.
Due diligence is putting a home in layaway so you can look around and make sure the inspection's right, the appraisal's right, things are right, but you can walk away for any reason and leave the house behind. You just leaving the money behind, right? So due diligence is layaway. And the more money you put it in layaway, the more serious you are. Okay, we've run out of time, Sandy. So if somebody wants to refi, buy, or learn about what rates are with you to purchase a new home, how do they get you?
They call my mobile at 704-577-0144.
You can always reach us at Jameson 704-846-DONE, 704-846-3663, or on the web at myjamesonhomes.com. Thanks for spending your Saturday with us. We got more real estate to go. Look at us Saturday at 2 o'clock every week. We're here for you. I'm Paul Jameson. Have a blessed Saturday. Take care. We'll talk to you next week on News Talk 1110 99.3 WBT.